Well, as we walk through the land of the Bible, sometimes you have to go and maybe actually walk in the land itself. Now, where are we standing?
Well, we are in the exact panoramic view that the disciples had, that Jesus had, and the 4,000 and the 5,000 when they listened to the Sermon of the Mount. Wow. The Sermon of the Mount happens over here. You know, there is no exact rock or a location that we can say it happened over here. But we know where the multiplication took place, the loaves of bread and the fish. We know where that over there where the springs are, just maybe half a mile away from where we are. The spring, the water are a little warmer. That's why the fishermen would be over here. And when Jesus would come and speak to the peasants and to the meek and to the poor and to the humble, he would come over here. He would come to speak to the people that needs his help. And they would be either over there or either over here. It doesn't really matter. But the idea is that the panoramic view is the same.
And for that many people to get together, they had to come from multiple little towns that were all over.
Well, if I was to imagine how it was, then it would be young people, old people, women that left their houses and went to see and to hear this Messiah that everybody is talking about, this new John the Baptist, this new Elijah that walks around and conducts miracles. And they come to see him over here and they listen suddenly to his speech, to the sermon. You know, the Sermon of the Mount, when I compare it to any other Old Testament text, it would be the Mount Sinai of the New Testament. It would be the Mount Sinai of the New Testament because there were thousands of people that saw a miracle that had happened and it was put on writing. And what is the idea? The idea of feeding the multitude, the idea of having the sermon. It's a very brilliant idea that Jesus is saying to the people. He says, you take a piece of bread, you cut it into two, you should have two halves. But I take a piece of bread, I cut it into 10,000 pieces, and I still have the same amount. Meaning, in spiritual world, it's very different than the earthly world. In the spiritual world, you can take what I'm giving you, you can take it and divide it and to share it with everybody, but it would be plenty and much more because this is the spiritual world.
That is really great. From the Christian perspective, the Sermon on the Mount really is the best sermon probably ever spoken in history, and it's our guideline for how we should live and how we should treat other people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not only that, later on, Jesus would say, you guys, you follow me not because of the miracles that I conducted or the signs that I have shown you, just because I fed you and got your belly stuffed. Over here, he makes sure that everybody that wants to can hear him. And yes, absolutely, you would have that in a small basin. It would be concentrated over here. We should have in our minds a lush slope. Everybody is sitting, it's quiet, it's calm, and Jesus is speaking. The Sermon of the Mount, the founding moment where Jesus is leading to a new way, to the New Testament. Absolutely, when you talk about all these people that should come over here, these are people that broke away from the Pharisees, that left the Sadducees, that even the Zealots, they were too extremist to them. The Essenes were too spiritual maybe in mind, or just left Jerusalem and they were too much of spiritual and not earthly enough. Jesus is sitting on that exact ground and saying, no, we have to build this conglomerate made out of everything. All the different shapes, all the different colors. One must accept his friend as long as you share.
And yet we're right beside the Galilee.
Absolutely.
You know, so Christ could have walked from Capernaum, gotten here really in a relatively short period of time, and all these people gather together and still be able to do an incredible Sermon on the Mount.
That's right.
What an amazing thing.
It is an amazing thing.
Well, once again, this is a place where the Bible just does come alive. It's just absolutely incredible.